In order to expose ourselves a little bit more to some algebra, let's look at adding and subtracting with some algebraic denominators. So I'm going to use keep, change, change, and I'm going to keep this the same. I'm going to change this to addition, and now I need to take the opposite of this, or the inverse, which means I'm just going to get rid of that negative. So I have negative 5 over x plus 3 over x. My common denominator is indeed common. It's an x. And so now I just do negative 5 plus a 3 and get a negative 2. And that's my answer. That was easy enough because I was given the common denominator. Let's look up here. I'm going to notice that I have a b in one denominator, a d in the other. Think of that as if I had like a 2 in one denominator and a 7 in the other. My common denominator would have to be 14. So my common denominator in this situation is going to be bd. I'm also going to do keep, change, change. So let's set that up. And I'm going to set this up in a vertical format. So I'm going to do a over b plus the inverse. So plus a c over d. So I just changed my subtraction problem to addition of the inverse. I am going to recognize that my denominator needs to be b times d. B times d. So I need to multiply the numerator and the denominator times d. And in my second fraction, the numerator and the denominator needs to be multiplied by b. So I'll have bc, or cb, and ad. Now, ad plus bc over bd. There's nothing I can do to that. That's the best I can do. I have simplified that fraction. I have added. I agree. It doesn't look very nice and ugly. I understand you probably want to cancel some things. That's not allowed. Welcome to the world of algebra. You want to do some things, but you're not always allowed to. Let's just revisit multiplying. And so I'm noticing here I have a x over negative y, a c over d, a y over c. I'm going to cancel my y's. I'm going to make sure I keep track of the fact that this is actually a negative 1. My c's also are going to cancel. And so I just have an x in the numerator, and negative 1 times a d times a 1. So this is my correct answer. If I were looking at something like this, I'm going to notice that my a's can cancel. My 3 and my 6 can still cancel. Just because we're focused on algebraic values doesn't mean we ignore the numeric values. Now I have 2 x's up here, and I have an x down here that's going to cancel and an x down here. So I took care of those 2 x's. So the only thing I'm really left with is a 2 here and a y right here. And so my simplified answer is 2 over y. There we go.